This week on No Fear or Favor, we look to answer the question, how do we handle youth that are too young to stand trial, are a danger to themselves and others, and no place in Minnesota will accept them? Hello, I'm Jamel Lundy, the Intergovernmental Relations Manager for the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, fancy word for lobbyists. I served in Minnesota House of Representatives for almost 10 years. Hennepin County is the largest county in the state of Minnesota, and the Hennepin County Attorney's Office handles almost half of the state's criminal prosecutions. Follow me as I follow the action at the Capitol with No Fear or Favor. House File 2040 and Senate File 2349, brought by Representative Nadeau and Senate President Champion, looks to improve our situation in Hennepin with our youth. It does so by cutting red tape and increasing the funding that we give to those who provide temporary out-of-home placement for our youth.
A growing number of parents and community activists are expressing concern about the spike in crimes committed by kids.
Some blame the closure of 2 juvenile detention centers, one in Ramsey and Hennepin County.
At 12, charged with aggravated robbery. And since then, a cycle. Charged with at least a dozen more crimes, including aggravated robbery, fleeing police, assault, and gun possession. But never convicted. Each time, his severe mental illness led a judge to find him incompetent to stand trial.
There were some attempts at treatment. With limited options here in Minnesota, at 13, the boy was sent to a facility down in Missouri. But often, he was just released back to his mother's care, only to be arrested again for more incidents of violence, making care providers even less likely to treat his illness.
They are either unable or unwilling to take children with aggressive behaviors.
We are facing an absolute crisis in Minnesota when it comes to how we intervene with justice-involved youth. We are failing our youth. We are dealing with an extraordinary lack of options to protect both the community and juveniles themselves. As someone who is responsible for prosecuting juveniles, I am compelled to speak in support of this measure due to the urgent need for a place to provide wraparound services for these youth. These treatment homes are essential.
In order to get a better understanding of the impact of a lack of these placement options and what the state is looking to do about it, we sat down with Sarah Davis. She's our Deputy County Attorney and also the Director of the Children and Families Division, a division dedicated to helping vulnerable and troubled youth and their families.
I'm Sarah Davis. I'm our Deputy Hennepin County Attorney and the Director of our Children and Families Division. As it relates to youth, we've really had a focus on early intervention and collaborative approaches. We know from research and evidence that that's what works for young people.
What new approaches have we seen since we've come into office?
We've worked on spearheading multidisciplinary teams where folks from different divisions within our office, our youth prosecution division, our child protection division, our Be It School division, are able to collaborate with partners across the county to bring a whole child, whole family approach to our work to achieve better outcomes.
What challenges have we seen relative to youth placement that we could get the legislature's assistance on?
Even though in the most ideal world, young people would be able to be at home in their community receiving the supports and interventions that they need, there are some young people whose risk to themselves and others is so great that they can't be there for a period of time. What we need are placements that can really address the needs of those youth, and we lack in those placements. It's most successful when we can have those programs and placements in our own community versus having to send kids out of state, because we can wrap the supports around them here, they can be engaged with their family here, so that when they do eventually transition home, those same supports and resources are in place. And we are really lacking in that here, and some of that has to do with funding, some of that has to do with licensing, reimbursement rates, so some of those things are really critical coming out of our legislature.
Do we have appropriate resources in community? And there's still a gap there. There's still a gap there. We are advocating about that. We are trying to work with and partner with everybody about the lack of placement options for kids who have escalated there, who are not safe to go home, who need options in Hennepin County.
How does this latest bill that would look to help to solve some of these youth placement options, how does that bill work?
It creates opportunities to address these concerns. It looks at reimbursement rates, it proposes funding, it asks for a task force related to licensing because it's really complicated. If the bill passes, we will be able to make significant steps forward towards having the resources that we need and the placement options that we need for young people who, for that period of time, cannot safely be at home.
If you'd like to see House File 2040 and Senate File 2349 brought by Representative Nadeau and Senate President Champion passed into law, or you'd like to find other ways to get involved with finding solutions for our youth, please contact their offices or ours using the contact below. Thank you again for returning for another season of No Fear or Favor. I'll see you around the Capitol.